Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today is a very special video because my friend Nolan and I will be previewing the 2019 Canadian Tire National Skating Championships.
Yes.
I think that's how you say it.
I think so.
Yeah. So Nolan, why don't you tell all of my viewers a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm from rural Newfoundland. I am not a skating fan because of Caitlin Osmond. I was a fan long before her, but of course I'm sure, she really facilitated my love for this sport. I'm a third-year university student at Memorial University of Newfoundland, and I'm 20 years old.
Awesome. I'm so excited to finally be filming with a Canadian because, as you know, I give off a lot of Canadian vibes to some other people. So I'm excited to do this with you. We're going to Canadian it up with being extra nice with these athletes. And Nolan, I wanted to start off by talking about the men's discipline at Canadian Nationals, because I think that's so exciting, because I think there are a few men who are really eyeing for the title now that Patrick Chan has retired. Who do you think has the best chance of winning the gold medal there?
Okay, well, I think the clear favorite is Keegan, of course, just because of the success he's had. I mean, he was the only Canadian senior to qualify for the Grand Prix final. Of course, he was an alternate, but he still got there nonetheless. But of course, I think he's going to be challenged by Stephan Gogolev a little bit. He's not going to get the same components as Keegan just because, he's a junior. But if he skates clean and lands those quads, I mean, it's going to be very difficult to beat Justin.
I actually think it's going to be between Keegan and Nam, actually. I think Nam is kind of having a resurgence, at least a personal one this season. He looks like he enjoys skating a little more. He's landing the jumps. Obviously, if you look at his competitions this past season, his scores are not that high, and I think he's being harped on because of the rotations on his quads and his triples. But maybe if the tech collar at Canadian Nationals is a little more generous, if Nam does one more quad total than Keegan, the scores could be pretty close. I think, if I remember correctly, Nam and Stephan both have similar program component marks, which is in the mid-7s from the international judges.
Okay.
So that's something interesting to note. But I think what Stephan, is his name Stephan Gogolev?
I think it's Stephan Gogolev, yeah.
Stephan, he does a quad lutz, so that's impressive. But neither Nam or Keegan does that. No, and
Stephan not only has quad lutz, but he has several other quads in his repertoire, so and Keegan and Nam don't have as many, so I just think that they're really looking for the next star after Patrick, and I mean, Keegan has risen to the occasion, yes, but I mean, Stephan is right there, and it's just going to be a matter of time. I mean, he's only 13 years old. The components are going to come, and of course, his musicality isn't there where it needs to be. I mean, in the free skate, they sent him out, I don't know if you've seen, with a thumbprint on his shirt. So I mean, the packaging needs to be a little bit more refined. But for 13 years old, no complaints.
Yes, and for those of you who are curious, Stephan is the reigning Canadian junior champion. And there's a rule in Skate Canada that says if you win juniors, you have to compete as a senior the next year. Because he is really young. 13 is quite a low age for a senior. But I think he definitely has a shot at the podium.
Yes, for sure. I think you're right. I mean, it's definitely going to be between Keegan and Nam for the top two. But I mean, if Stephan skates clean with that quad lutz, I mean, the judges have to take note.
Who's your personal favorite out of these men?
Well, it's actually not one of the top three. My sentimental favorite is Roman Sadovsky. I just think he has the most lovely skating skills. I mean, he's not the most consistent jumper, but boy, when he hits those jumps, I mean, they're beautiful. And I mean, his skating skills are always there. He has excellent ice coverage. I mean, I just think if he gets those jumps down, he could really be a threat to be reckoned with. I think he won the bronze medal at the Autumn Classic this year, which was a big achievement for him because that was a pretty tough field. So I mean, for him to get the bronze, I mean, I think he's on the right track as well. He could definitely he's nipping at the heels of Nam, I think.
Yeah, he's gotten some more international experience lately, so that's good.
Yeah.
I also think his program choices are very beautiful. I love both of the music choices for his programs.
I
A
agree.
question mark I have in my notes for the men is Nicolas Nadeau. Unfortunately, he did have to withdraw from one of his Grand Prix because he injured his back in the short program. Do you think he'll make an appearance at Nationals?
I was wondering the same thing because he did not compete at Challenge.
He did not.
So it was a little curious to me. I really hope so because I feel like he's, again, like one of those men who are very close to being on the podium, and if given, you know, the right scenario, the clean skate versus other people's mistakes, he could certainly be on that podium.
I'm a little worried because even if he does show up, I looked at some of his earlier competitions this season before he injured his back, and it didn't look like his jumps were consistent.
No, and I also don't feel the same connection to the music as last year. I mean, that Elvis program, of course. I mean, he stole that, like, right? Whew, a little bit of a charmer, for sure. But this year, I just didn't feel it. I think it was Finlandia he competed in. I think he was, like, 4th or something. So not a bad outing whatsoever. But it was just, like, a blank. Like, there was no connection to the music for me whatsoever. So I think he's kind of struggling with that as well.
Yeah. So hopefully he can find his groove again. Another skater that I think needs to kind of find their way back into competitive figure skating that we'll see at Nationals is Kevin Reynolds.
Yes.
He is really talented. I mean, he won 4 continents a couple seasons ago with so many quads in the long program, and I don't think he's really lived up to the potential since that competition. But he can skate really well. I just think that he's a very hot and cold skater, and we've seen a lot of cold from him, especially this past season. Very underwhelming placements at his 2 Grand Prix events. I'm not sure if being at Nationals will ignite him. I know he did have to change his free program mid-season.
Yes.
So, how do you think
I was just wondering, because he withdrew from Challenge, so that's, to me, is another bit of an alarm there, because I don't know if that was an issue, or maybe he just wanted more training time before Nationals. I don't know. I really hope we do see him, because, as you said, he has so many different quads, and it's really just a matter of if he lands them. I mean, they're known to be grossly under-rotated at times, so that's, you know, an issue he has to work on. But, I mean, he's an old veteran at it now. He has been here for so long. I mean, I just wish him the best every single time. I always enjoy watching him in his Celtic programs.
Same here. And then, let's see, for maybe a top 5 finish at Nationals, he was my favorite kind of last year, is Stephan.
Okay.
But hasn't done too well this season. Didn't do well at Skate Canada Challenge. And what I noticed in Canada, Nolan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the people who are on the cusp of breaking through to the top level in Canada are always changing every year, like especially in ladies.
No, I would agree with you, and I think now we're seeing a lot of the juniors coming up, because I mean, when we talk about the ladies, there's Allison Schumacher, I think is her name. I think she's a competitor as well as Aurora Kotop. And of course, in the men's, we have Stephan Gogolev as well as Conrad Ozell. He's up there too. So I think we're going to see in the next few years the juniors kind of creep their way up there.
Yeah. And as we wrap up the men's, we'll just remind everyone that Canada has 2 spots at the Worlds for the men's, and I think Keegan and Nam is the more likely outcome for the team selection. And if Nam gets sent to Canada, I love Nam, by the way, I think his personal goal will just be to qualify for the free program, because that's a good one and he has fun skating to it.
Yes, I agree with you.
And then Keegan just has to make sure he keeps the pressure in check, because I think sometimes that can get in the way of his performance, and his jumps can be a little too big and go out of control.
Yes, and even we saw at the Grand Prix final, I mean, Keegan is known for his step sequence and spins, honestly, some of the best in the world, and even he wasn't getting the levels on those. So when he lets the nerves get to him, it tends to fall apart, so he just has to stay focused, and the title is his.
So let's move on to the ladies now. Do you have any predictions?
Well, first of all, I just kind of really hope to see Gabby, because she's on the Canadian national website, so I'm assuming we'll be seeing her, because she's there like with with Caitlin and Andrew and a couple other people. So I really hope we see her.
How do I put it this way? There's a good chance that she'll be competing there.
Okay.
Don't take my word for it, but she'll most likely be competing.
Well, that's good to hear because the rest of the field is not the strongest with the absence of Caitlin and Alaine being Alaine.
All right, so let's assume that Gabby will be there. Let's talk about how this should not be a problem for her to win another title. I think she is totally above the rest of the field in terms of program component marks. Just because of her skating skills, I think the great ice coverage she has, the great speed, will definitely give her high marks in skating skills, performance quality over some other ladies. Jumps are usually really good. Sometimes they're really too powerful, but what's great is that she doesn't have to worry too much about under rotations, and I just hope she has the skate of her life. Maybe since she's new to training, just do triple-double combinations to ease herself back into the game.
I agree with you. I mean, there is a bit of pressure there being the only returning national champion. Of course, all the rest of them have gone their merry way, so it is only Gabby that is left. So there is a bit of pressure, but not from her other competitors. It's just kind of a mental toughness there that she needs to kind of reclaim her title. But yeah, she shouldn't have too much trouble. I know she's been working on different combinations, triples in the free skate. We saw at some national competition, I think it was, that she did triple lutz, triple toe in the free skate, which it looked really good. Of course, the rest of it kind of fell apart, but, it was there.
Yeah, and maybe this is a competition for her where she can try out new combinations before hitting it at a major competition. So
with not a lot of pressure.
Yeah. So
I mean, didn't you hear, I think it was last year, she was talking about maybe incorporating quad toe at some point in time. Did you hear that?
Oh, I heard that. Trust me.
Yeah.
I think that was when Caitlin Osman was still in the game. Because Gabby Daleman really finds it special to be Canadian national champion. I think with Caitlin gone, that's kind of on the back burner, which I think is good. The last thing we want is for that girl to injure herself.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I also have some question marks about her free skate. When I first saw it, I really enjoyed the Samson and Delilah for her because it was just so different and so new. But as I watched it the second time, it kind of lost an effect for me. I think it works great in the second half when it's kind of like the words are kind of taken out of it. But in the beginning, it just really doesn't seem like her, and I don't know that she can connect to it as well as, say, like Rhapsody in Blue, something like that. But it's good just not to see Rhapsody in Blue, so I'm not complaining too much.
Yeah, that's right. I actually don't know what her programs are going to be. I think there's a good chance we could see a mix-up. And I don't know if we will, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we do. I gotta say something. I feel like Gabby shines in her exhibition programs the most. If she could, skate a competitive program that's like an exhibition, I think she'd be spot on.
Yes, and I think it's just a matter of picking the right music choice for her. Because, I mean, you can just see in her Carmen Short program that she had last year and that she used at the beginning of this year as well. I mean, there's just such a connection there. Like, during her step sequence, she comes alive. So, I mean, it's just a matter of pairing the music to the skater.
That's right. And maybe it's time to work with a new choreographer. No shade to Lori Nickel, but, a new set of eyes, new perspective, because right now her programs seem to have the same formula, and I can detect it. Maybe I watch too many of her programs. I think other people can notice as well.
No, I agree with you, and it seems that Lori's choreography, I mean, very talented choreographer, but it seems that her choreography works best for a more delicate skater.
Yes.
I mean, we see some great work from her with Carolina, of course. I mean, every program that she's really done with Carolina has been a success, in my opinion. I mean, it's just been beautiful to see. So I think maybe like a Shaylin or something would be nice to see with Gabby. Yes.
So let's talk about, I think we may agree that Alaine Chartrand has a good shot at winning the silver medal here.
I completely agree with you, especially seeing her at her 2 Grand Prix this year. I mean, it's definitely a better showing from her than past seasons. I mean, she skated relatively clean in the free skate at our last Grand Prix, I believe. It's just really, scatter pop here and there, but I'll take it. You know?
That's right. Sometimes if you look at the results, it's a bit alarming because her placements are really low. Those are some low numbers that the judges are giving her. But when you watch her skating, she comes alive, kind of like Nam. It's the season where, she's recovering from not making the Olympics, and I think she's skating for the right reasons, which is very personal. So the reason why her scores seem to be low is under rotations. It's sometimes even downgrades. She is prone to downgrades even, and lower program component marks. I think same with Gabby. Her programs don't look too different from one another in terms of construction and choreography. But hey, she looks like she enjoys skating. And in front of a Canadian crowd with Canadian judges, that could elevate her to, like, maybe winning the title if Gabby is not there or if Gabby makes many errors.
Many mistakes. Yes. I think she's going to be challenged a little bit, to be quite honest, by the likes of Larkin. I mean, she lost the spot, of course, to the Olympics to Larkin Ostman last year. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be a bit of a competition there. But if she skates clean, I mean, she's in Canada. The judges aren't going to be too critical with her under rotations. I mean, if she can just be clean enough, she should have the silver medal, I hope.
Yeah, and Larkin, or Alaine does have more difficult content than Larkin.
Yes.
I'm not sure if Larkin will be attempting the Lutz. Maybe she'll do one flip in her free program, whereas Alaine likes the Lutz. Doesn't always do it well, but we can cross our fingers for that. And I do agree, Larkin unfortunately had to miss out on the Grand Prix season because she injured herself while training this summer. It sounds like she was working on more difficult jump content. If I remember correctly from an interview that I saw, she was training the Lutz, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, she injured her leg. And it sounds like now she's watering down her content than what she intended to compete with, which she thinks is fine because her goal is just to have a clean performance. And I think that'll be enough to get her to the World Championships, as Canada has 3 spots for the ladies.
Yes. And this may be the last time Canada has 3 spots for the ladies, I think.
Soak it up, girls.
In maybe a couple years. So, they really need to avail of that. I just wanted to say with Larkin, I don't think she has a consistent triple-triple either. Yeah. So not having the Lutz or the consistent triple-triple, I think she goes for it. Like, it's written there, like, on her protocols, but she doesn't attempt them. It's really a triple-double, honestly, is what she goes for.
Yeah, and even in the long program, she goes for double axel, triple toe. That, I've seen quite a few double axel, double toes from her.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be too confident with the big jumping passes, but she'll get there, I'm sure.
She is a beautiful skater, though. My friend Kanishka, who's on my videos, a lot says that he likes her stature and her presence on the ice. And that is true. She is very beautiful to look at on the ice. And she's really tall and gorgeous. I'm wondering if that affects her jumps at all. But
yeah, she has really good posture. She's very, like, straight in the air with her jumps. So I don't think it's so much the air position. I think it's honestly just she doesn't, she's just a ball of nerves and just can't execute when it comes to it. I feel like she's much stronger in training, and I actually find her look on the ice to be really refreshing too. You don't see many skaters with, the short hair, and she's very like Broadway, presence on the ice. So I really do enjoy seeing her.
Yeah, it takes you back in time.
Yeah.
So I have in my notes for 4th place, I think it's a toss-up between Alicia, who was one of the Skate Canada host picks, Michelle Long, who's been in the game for a while, and then, as you mentioned earlier, Alison Schumacher, who actually placed 2nd at Skate Canada Challenge.
Yes, and she was really impressive to me on the Junior Grand Prix this year. She did quite well. She had a couple clean short programs, and she was rewarded for them. I think she trains... Correct me if I'm wrong. I think she's with the cricket club. I think Lee Barkel is her main coach. Yes. So, I mean, she's in good hands. So I think we could see a lot from her from the future.
I think she has really solid technique on her jumps for her level.
Yeah, and she goes for the triple-triple, which if she can execute, I think, there's no reason why she shouldn't be ahead of Larkin. She's at the age where she could be senior. It's just they're keeping her down in junior, I guess, just because lack of juniors.
Yeah, that's right. But she can definitely compete with the best ladies in Canada right now. And maybe at nationals, maybe she won't have any kind of pressure, because she did put pressure on herself in her junior Grand Prix, because she had a clean short program and bombed along. Hopefully that's not the case here. If she skates clean, short, and long, she could get high up there, challenge someone for the third spot.
I agree, and I did notice, I have written down in my notes, that she's a fighter. Like, she doesn't just let the program go. If there is a mistake, she'll come back from that, and she'll keep trying. It's not like with, a skater like in the past, Alaine. It'll be the mistake on the combination, the rest of the program is over. Yeah. Like, it's not like that with Allison. Like, she is a fighter.
Yeah, so I like that about her too. Let's see here, Michelle Long. What I think of when I think of her is that I think she's a very beautiful skater. I think she's kind of the most artistic out of the bunch, like very natural movements on the ice.
Yes, and I think she was the bronze medalist here at Challenge.
Yes.
So, I mean, she's right there. My only concern is she's one of the veteran ladies. I think she's like 25 or around there. So my concern is if she doesn't have the jumps by now, they're probably not going to come. So she is relying a lot on her artistry, and I agree with you. She is probably the most artistic. I mean, even more so than Gabby in terms of like expression and stuff. She's very expressive. So the components are always going to be there for her. It's just a matter of how cleanly she can execute the jumps, because she as well does not have a triple-triple. So if you're going to do triple-double, it has to be clean.
Yeah, and also she attempts more of the easier triple jumps rather than the more difficult ones. So if she is going to have a chance at the podium, she really has to be perfectly clean and gain all the points that she can.
Yeah, and I think we saw a lower placement from her than what we're used to last year at Canadian Nationals, because she was not clean. So she's really going to need to step up this year if she wants to get there.
That's right. But I think she's also a fighter. I looked at the results at the Skate Canada Challenge. It looks like she was pretty low after the short program. So I think the long is where she excels. So.
Yeah, she can fight back. She likes to come from behind. Yeah.
That's right. And then Alicia, I'm not going to lie. I had zero impressions of Alicia before this season, but I think she held her own really well at Skate Canada International.
I completely agree with you. I think her name is Alicia, if I'm not mistaken.
I apologize.
Yeah. Yes. But she was 10th at Skate Canada, I think, which is very respectable for your very first Grand Prix outing. I think it was her first Grand Prix. Of course, she was replacing Gabby, who, of course, withdrew from both of hers. And actually, she was replacing two. She placed Gabby and then Veronique, who also withdrew.
Right.
Yeah, so she was the third option there, but she did just well, and she was actually rewarded with level 4 on her step sequence, which that just always stands out to me, because I was so shocked watching some of like the higher tier ladies get level 3, and then Alicia got level 4, so, I was impressed with that. So obviously she has really good skating skills.
Yeah, you know what I love most about Alicia? Do you know how to say her last name, by the way? I don't want to butcher it.
Yes, Alicia Pinot.
Yeah. I think she has the most attack out of any of the Canadian ladies. She goes for her triple toe, double axel combinations. Sometimes, like Gabby, they're a little too strong, but I think she goes for it the strongest out of any of the ladies.
And she really projects into the audience. She has her eyes up. She has a smile on her face. She can take time to focus on the jumps, but when those are completed, she's really into the performance. And the judges notice that, I think, with the level 4 and the step sequence. And she's also a brilliant spinner. I actually find that she has great flexibility, and she really holds the positions well.
Yeah, and she's very fierce, which translates really well. And then quickly before we move on, I just wanted to bring up a few names that I thought would be big this season, but they haven't really pushed through. Aurora Kotop, and then Sarah Tamura. What happened to these girls a few seasons ago? Sarah just sounds like she's still developing. I saw both of them skate at Skate Canada Challenge. Sarah Tamura gets program component marks in the 5s, even with landing a clean triple Lutz triple toe. So I'm just guessing she's still extremely slow.
She must be in person, because I think she looks a little quick on the ice, from video, but in person she must be rather slow to get those low components.
Aurora Kotop, it looks like The last time watched her closely, she was doing triple triples so easily. I'm not sure they're as easy this season for her from looking at the results.
No, I saw her at one of her junior Grand Prix only attempting triple toe, double toe. So that's a very low combination, even for a triple double. So obviously something happened there. I mean, she's now coached by Ravi Walia, of course, the famous coach of Caitlin Osmond. So she's also in good hands. It's just, I guess, I guess they're really like stripping her down to her fundamentals and trying to build the jumps back up, I guess.
And now's the time to do it, I guess.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention really quick, my favorite, I'm so excited to see her back this year, is Veronique Millet.
Oh, is she competing? I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure either, but I saw her at Finlandia this year, and she was
great there.
She was great. She was 6th, which I think is incredible to come back after a couple years away and to get 6th, and she was great. I think beautiful components, just up there with Michelle, probably I think better than Michelle because there's just something so natural about Veronique. Also, I don't think she has the consistent triple-triple, but I really hope she's competing at nationals. She's my favorite.
She competes, and she did really well, as you said, at her Challenger Series competition. I actually think she can challenge for the silver medal.
Yeah, I don't see issue with that. I also wrote down that since she's been at Canadian Nationals, she's never been lower than 5th. So she tends to really rise to the occasion at nationals, and I think it was a couple seasons ago. I mean, she's been right there. She's a former bronze medalist.
That's right.
So I mean, she has the goods. Yeah, I really hope she's there. She wasn't at Challenger Series, so that kind of made me question. And she was given Gabby's spot at Skate Canada, but then she withdrew. So I don't know.
I was sad because I was excited to see her there. I was there in
the
fall, and the rumor is that she injured herself during practice, so she was there in the arena, but just in a cast. So I didn't personally see her, but others did. So hopefully she knows she's back in the competitive mindset, and I would love to see her at nationals. You're right.
Yes, and when she skates, you can just tell that she loves what she's doing, and that is why she's back. She's not back to get 2 Grand Prix assignments. She's back for the love of the sport, and it just translates in her skating incredibly.
And I think that's what I find mostly with the older competitors, like Michelle Long, because Veronique is not the youngest competitor there. So
no, I think she's 24.
Yeah, so I would hope that they're just doing it for the right reasons, and you can really tell when they skate. Maybe they have more say in what their programs are and who choreographs them. So really great to see them.
Yeah, and I was rewatching like several of like the ladies' skates yesterday, and her maturity compared to someone like Aurora Kotop is, I mean, it's not comparable. Veronique is super, super, super mature. You can tell that she's been skating for much longer than those other girls.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So should we do dance or pairs next?
Whichever you prefer. Perhaps dance.
Okay, dance. Dance I need your help with. So.
Okay. I'm excited for dance.
Andrew Poget, Caitlin Weaver versus Piper and Paul. Who has the edge?
I would have said, like, a month ago that it would have been Caitlin and Andrew, just because Piper and Paul were a little underwhelming at their Grand Prix events. But if you saw the scores that they got at the Golden Spin of Zagreb, oh boy, that's going to be really hard to compete with. Yes.
Do you think that it was worrisome that Piper and Paul did not qualify for the Grand Prix final?
Yes, and I think it was kind of their position to lose at the start of the season. I mean, I know that like all like these Russian dance teams kind of stepped up to the plate this year, but I think it was really theirs, and it's concerning internationally, but I still think they're going to be held in high regard at nationals, and I think they'll probably win. I mean, Caitlin and Andrew are going to have to step up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my takeaway is that fall in the rhythm dance.
Rhythm dance.
Canada International. What was that all about?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just nerves getting to them. Of course, with Caitlin and Andrew doing the Thank You Canada tour and not competing at the Grand Prix, and of course Tessa and Scott, don't want to say retiring, but stepping back for now. the pressure, I think, just really got to them being the top dance team in Canada for the Grand Prix series. I think that's all that was. I don't think it's any, like a deep issue with their skating or anything.
That's right. And I will say Piper and Paul have one of my favorite free dances this season.
Yes, it's like a little, it's like indie folk or something like that. Like, it's really new. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Great. Anyone else we should be looking at maybe for the podium?
Yeah, I actually watched, it's a new team from Canada. They used to skate for Denmark. It's Laurence Fournier-Baudry and Nicolas Sorensen. They got really, really high scores at the challenge, the Canada Challenge. I think the bronze medal is theirs from those scores.
Were they the ones who won the challenge?
Yeah, I mean, they got plus 70 in the rhythm dance, and I think it was like 117 in the free dance. So those are very, very high scores, and I actually thought they were really deserving. If you saw their free dance, I got chills. I was not expecting it whatsoever. They now train with Marie-France Dubray, so I'm guessing this is where it's coming from. But they're a veteran team. They used to skate for Denmark, as I said, for a number of years, and you can really tell like that they have good chemistry together. And at the start of their program, it's like a Spanish carnival type of thing, and even just the way that she held her dress, it was very calculated, and I really think that they could win that bronze medal, and I hope to see them at the Worlds because I really think they could make a splash.
Oh, well, I'm excited to see them at Nationals. Do we know why they no longer skate for Denmark?
I think Laurence is from Canada, so I think it may just have been a switch, and with now training with Marie-France Dubray, that was a coaching change as well, so it probably just made more sense for them to go with Canada.
Okay, excellent, great. And now we end with pairs. I think it's going to be Kirsten Moore-Towers and Michael Mayo.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty clear bet. I also think it was a little unfortunate that they did not make the Grand Prix final. I think it could have happened for them had they have skated cleaner in their second Grand Prix. I think they got, was it bronze at Skate Canada? Yeah.
And they were close each time, so maybe if they were like a little cleaner in their programs, they were just a few points off of second at Skate Canada International, and then their second Grand Prix, they really lost a bronze medal because the Kinnerums were not perfect. I love them, don't get me wrong, but Kirsten and Michael really had that bronze medal and let it slide.
Yes. I think in terms of like international prestige, they're kind of on the same level with the Kinnerums, and I kind of really saw like their scores were very similar all season, and I think like you can kind of see them kind of fighting one another. It's exciting.
That's right. But I will say, I think at Canadian Nationals, there will be a clear difference in terms of overall presence and skating quality between Kirsten and Michael and the rest of the field.
Yes. And my mother, I don't remember what competition it was, but it was one of the Grand Prix. She just happened to walk in while I was watching it, and she was just like, "Oh wow, like they look really good on the ice." And I was like, "Yeah, they do, don't they? Like they have a really good like look to them. Like when you see them, it draws your attention just from the moment they hit on the ice." However, I think Michael is a little bit of a shorter man, and I think that kind of hinders him with the triple twist. It's a very tiny triple twist, but their jumps are beautiful.
And they've really worked towards gelling as a pair over the past few years. And I feel like they finally owned their partnership and their skating, and it's really refreshing to see.
Yes, and of course with Megan and Eric being the top team in Canada for so long, Kristen, even when she was with Dylan Moskovich, they were never the top team in Canada, and she has never won Pierre's national title. So this is her time to get it, and it's going to be so exciting to see her win hopefully her first Pierre national title.
I look forward to seeing that Instagram post from her.
Yes.
By the way, I met Kirsten at Skate Canada International, and she recognized me. So I'm like,
oh,
what?
Wow.
You know me? I can't believe it. So she's a really nice girl. So if you're watching this, Kirsten, hello.
Yes.
And then I think the silver medal will go to Evelyn Walsh and Trent Bicon. Am I saying it right?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. They had 2 Grand Prix, Skate America, Skate Canada International, and I think they definitely improved at Skate Canada International just 1 week from their first Grand Prix. And how do I put it this way? They're very young and refreshing. Yep. Like, I know they have a long ways to go, but when I watch them, I don't focus on that. I focus on, like, the joy they bring to the ice.
Exactly. And, I mean, they're going to get there. I mean, like you said, they're just a young team. It's going to just be a matter of time before they get there, and then they're going to be challenging. This time, in the next Olympic cycle, I mean, we'll be watching them for sure.
I also like their programs. I think they have a really good chemistry with each other, and I actually think they're very great technical skaters. You know, their jump elements are not bad at all, and I think their lifts are really impressive. Trent is a very strong man.
Yes, in contrast to Michael Marinero, who I think relies a lot on Kirsten. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, anyone else you think that could make the podium?
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not too familiar with the other pair teams, so I just kind of went off of who I saw at the challenge. Okay. So I'm assuming we'll see like a similar placement at nationals.
All right. Well, I think for the bronze medal, I put it here in my notes: Camille Ruiz and Andrew Wolf. They competed at Skate Canada International, and I actually think they are two very individual, beautiful skaters that complement each other well. Beautiful programs, just need to up the levels and be consistent, because I think that's their biggest weakness right now. Did you see them skate at Skate Canada?
I did not.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, they were low in the rankings, but I will say they're very impressive. I remember being there in person and just being in awe at how beautiful skaters both of them are. I think even if they're not clean at nationals, they could still win the bronze medal.
Yeah, I think last year, especially with Julianne and Charlie skating as well, and with Lubov and Dylan, we kind of had an embarrassment of riches a little bit in the pairs event, and this year it's a little bit of a different story. So I think the way it's going to go is, of course, you know, Christian and Michael are going to win, and then after that, it's just going to be the two pairs that got Grand Prix assignments.
Yeah, most likely. I did throw in there, you know, as a podium potential, Lorianne Matt and Thierry Furlan. I think they did win Skate Canada Challenge. I saw the protocols, you know, it looks like they have solid enough programs. You know, they're not a junior team. They were a junior team. I saw them as a junior when they were mainly doing doubles, and so now they're attempting triples, and I think they're a nice dynamic pair. Have you seen them before?
I haven't. I'm such a bad skating fan.
Oh, no, it's okay. I actually like how Lori and Thierry look together. I think, you know, she's shorter, of Asian descent, and Thierry's pretty tall, I think. You know, their technical elements look really powerful when they're on, and they're just young, and I think they have a lot of attack, so that's what I like about them.
Well, I'll definitely be watching out for them at Canadian Nationals. I also wanted to say I love Kirsten's purple dress in the in her short program. I think it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Not gonna lie, I'm really digging their Shine on You Crazy Diamond free program.
Okay, the Pink Floyd. Yes. I love that they chose two programs that are complete opposites, and I think it really shows that they can do both. They can do the ethereal, you know, very soft, gentle program, which is like their short program. And they could do classic rock, Pink Floyd, as their free. That was a nice juxtaposition.
Yeah, that's right. And Canadian pairs, they have 2 spots at Worlds?
2 spots.
Yeah, because Megan and Eric opted not to compete at Worlds after the Olympics.
Yes.
So, hey, Kirsten and Michael, and then Evelyn and Trent. I think that would make it a really amazing season for Evelyn and Trent to start off with 2 Grand Prix and then make it to the World Championships.
Absolutely. I mean, all the international experience they can get as such a young team is just going to help them.
Yeah, and then you know what's going to happen is that next season, when maybe we don't have as many spots for various disciplines at Worlds, there will be like higher competition for those spots. And everyone will have to up their game.
Exactly. It'll just force the athletes to work even harder.
Yes. So that'll be exciting to see. But anyways, Nolan, thank you so much for joining me on my video today.
Yes, it was a pleasure. I'm really glad that you had me, and it was lovely talking skating with you.
Absolutely. So maybe if you have time, we can film a recap after Canadian Nationals has completed.
Yes, that will be fun to see how our predictions stack up.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways, thank you
Yes.
so much for watching. Thank you, Nolan, and we'll see you guys later.
See you.
Bye-bye.